Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week, get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock, with new central bankers are about to meet again in Jackson Hole, staring at the end of the current long-term expansion. Firstly, however, Wall Street equity markets are ignoring the signals and rose in yesterday's session, posting a modest 0.3% gain. And yesterday in Hong Kong and Shanghai, they were even more optimistic, with both markets gaining more than 1% on the day. In Beijing, the newly re-elected Prime Minister of Malaysia delivered an unexpectedly pointed criticism of China, warning of new colonialism in their economic relations. This comes as China is trying to shore up its relationship with Malaysia. In Europe, Greece no longer depends on the European Union aid after overnight formally exiting its third and final bailout program, the first of which started in May 2010. The Germans hailed the programme's success as a sign of EU solidarity, but Greece still faces decades of debt repayment and economic recovery. And Germany is set to record the world's largest current account surplus of 7.8% of GDP, the third year in a row in 2018, despite growing international criticisms of its export-focused growth model. China likes it as in Germany's shadow on this one. In Australia, there is a political paralysis in Canberra, with their Prime Minister under siege in his own party over energy and climate change policies. Despite wide public support for the Prime Minister's decisions, many Liberal Party members seem to want to risk a sharp turn right, and that may not be good for relations with New Zealand, as it may push to the fore Peter Dutton, a rigid hardline anti-immigrant minister. In separate Aussie woes, another bank there, this time the CBA, their largest, has suffered some widespread IT issues, making online transactions unavailable for hours yesterday. And this is the week where the world's central bankers meet in Jackson Hole, Wyoming for their annual review. This year it'll be a sober affair, clouded by risks in emerging markets, as well as a growing understanding that the current growth cycle may be about to come to an end, and some of the largest economies have little ammunition to lean against the next downturn. Irresponsible fiscal policy in the US is the main risk. On Wall Street bond markets, the US Treasury 10-year yield is down sharply to 2.82%, with the US 210 curve down to just 23 basis points, its lowest since July 2007. This curve fall is about to be a major international talking point as the current expansion nears its unusual 10-year streak. The Aussie 10-year government bond is at 2.53%, down 1 basis point. The China 10-year is at 3.67%, up 1 basis point, while the New Zealand government 10-year is at 2.60%, unchanged. And gold is back up by $12 an ounce at $1,189 in New York. And the US oil prices are a little firmer today, now just above $66.50 a barrel. The Brent benchmark is just over $72 a barrel. And China is finding ways to keep the flow of Iranian oil coming, despite the threats from the US. It has even cut local petrol prices. And the Kiwi dollar is starting today little change from yesterday at 66.3 US cents. On the cross rates, we're still at 90.5 Aussie cents and 57.9 euro cents. That leaves the TWI at 70.2, unchanged from yesterday. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.